Welcome to the Know Before You Go Travel Show, where we share all the latest travel tips, tricks, and insights to make your next vacation the best one yet. So sit back, relax, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the show with Penyak Travel's George Penyak and our senior travel consultant, Janet Penyak.
What is up, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back to another edition of the Know Before You Go Travel Show, and we've got a show for you today on this lovely
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. We are saying goodbye to 2020.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yes, that's. I could say a few other choice words in that same sentence.
I'm sure everybody could. You know what's really scary, though, is 2020 turns 21 next year.
Well, yeah, I've been seeing
they're old enough to drink.
Well, no, I've been seeing memes that 2021 is 2021, so like 2021, which they actually did kind of win over everybody, or the year did.
Oh yeah. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, like
That's
one,
clever.
like WON.
I gotcha. That's very clever. I've just seen the one where it's like 2020 is about to turn 21, and it's old enough to drink, so we have to look out for 21. Do you get it?
Yes. Yeah, no, I get it.
It's a pretty funny meme.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not laughing out loud at it, but it was funny.
Okay.
But anyways, hope you guys are having a great New Year's Eve. And if you're listening to this, chances are you're probably listening to this in 2021. So Happy New Year. Hope you had a safe one. Hope no one drinks and drives. Everyone stays very safe. And I think we are all excited for 2021. I'm very optimistic, and I've said it before on this podcast a lot, is that I'm very optimistic for the future of travel in 2021. What do you think?
Yes, I am definitely optimistic. I still can't believe that, doing this podcast here 8 months later, really like 9 months after the corona first started, like really getting crazy over here and, travel was canceled. I can't believe we're still talking about it 9 months later. That's just insane to me. I never would have guessed that, but here we are. And yeah, I'm optimistic, hopeful for a positive 2021. Been getting lots of quote requests, so that's good.
Speaking of quote requests, I know we've got a couple shout-outs here.
Yeah, we do. Kim from Dallas, interested in Unico. Thank you so much for reaching out. And then we also got a message from Sydney, thinking about Disneyland in California for next year.
Yes, thank you guys so much. The best way to support us is if you're going to book a trip. We would love to hear from you. We can help you out. We are a free service again. Got to give ourselves a little plug here. We're an absolute free service. We won't cost you any more than you would pay online or elsewhere. And you get our expertise and knowledge and great service at no extra cost. So hit us up. How can they find us?
PenyakTravel.com. If you click request a quote, it comes directly to me. Or you can email me, janet@PenyakTravel.com, or give us a call, 1-800-674-3278. Or you can, of course, slide into our DMs on Instagram or Facebook.
Absolutely, yeah. And so check this out. So for the third consecutive week, airline tickets have been on the rise. Now, obviously, we had the holidays, which is good, but still the trend is actually beating. If you look at it from a percentage standpoint, the trend is still going up 3 to 4% every week, which is a really good sign.
Yeah, that is a good sign. And, also the TSA, they have screened, it's pretty cool, for the 5th day in a row, over 1 million passengers.
Oh, really?
Since, the pandemic began. So day after Christmas, 1.1 million. On December 27th, 1.28 million. December 28th, 1.1. 12/29, 1.01 million. And then yesterday they screened 1.16 million. So, that is a good sign. People are traveling. They're willing to get out.
Yeah, and the vaccine's coming out. So I think it's a combination of a couple things happening. Congress just passed the stimulus bill, which should be coming out. Now there's going to be some debate here on how much that will be. I don't know if it's fully final yet, so that's kind of to be determined. But I know it's in the Senate right now. But anyways, I'm just very optimistic. So on this podcast, I just want to talk about kind of our favorite moments from 2020. I know 2020 was a very rough year for the travel industry.
And just for
everybody.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we're not doctors or nurses, so we can't speak on the medical side. All we can talk about is the impact of how it impacts us and our expertise in travel. And the travel world, I mean, we were hit with lockdowns. We were hit with no one's flying, no leisure travel. It was a pretty wild time. But you and I and a lot of our agents too actually got out and traveled a lot because we wanted to see what it was like. We felt like we had to be the first ones to do it.
Well, yeah, it's
if we're going to book
it's easier to talk to somebody if you do it. So
yeah, exactly. So we had a really good 2020 as far as trips goes. Like, I mean, it was one of my more memorable years, I think, of all the places that we traveled, and we kind of stuck to the same place, but we went to a lot of different resorts that we probably wouldn't have otherwise gone to had COVID not happened. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say. Now, my most favorite moment of 2020, I would have to say is
right now, like, let's say goodbye.
Well,
to
yes,
it.
yeah, actually, that is my absolute most favorite moment. Is that today is the last day, and we can put it in the rear view, say, goodbye, screw you, never want to talk about you again. But other than that, my next favorite is I will never forget walking out of the Cancun airport into the arrival section in June, right? After lockdown, and they had just reopened for tourism 6 days ago.
It was the first week we arrived.
Yes. And then there we were there, and like we got a margarita for the road, and it was just like the best feeling to like be traveling. And I would say that was probably one of the most relaxing trips I've ever had. It was just like a breath of fresh air, weight off your shoulders. You needed to relax.
Oh, man, absolutely. And I think so many Americans and people around the world are just craving that first sip of a margarita when they get to finally go on vacation. Some are traveling right now, which is great. You've been actually very busy lately, so I think that's really good. And I think we all need a vacation in 2021, a nice one. And so, by the way, like I'm keep saying this over the last few podcasts, but I can't stress how important it is. Literally, the deals are still really good.
Yes.
Like you're still getting these like pandemic level prices, although booking volume is trending up. So I can see in the future rates starting to kick up a little bit because we just did the research on the airline tickets that it's trickling up and supply and demand will take care of itself. But anyways, really good year. So what was outside of that? What was your favorite trip, I guess, overall in 2020?
Favorite trip?
Because we went to Mexico 3 times.
Yeah,
you went to Mexico 4 times.
4 times, yeah. I think my most favorite trip, honestly, was the Unico trip. Just because it was like so needed at that time, like our business had been through so much, it was just that needed vacation. And it was also because a lot of times when we travel, I'm still attached to my phone and my email, and
work doesn't stop.
My work never stops. But it was like that was kind of in the time where it was not busy at all, and so I really could just kind of put it away, and I just relaxed for a week. And I would say that's my favorite trip of the year. Now, I absolutely loved LeBlanc too, but
yeah, LeBlanc was amazing. But I have to agree, as far as like the level of chill that we had at
it was so chill.
Just because
the resort when we first got there was 10% occupancy.
Yeah, and it was one of those trips that you need so desperately. Like you just need to get away and just get away from all the stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah.
And we were able to do that, and it was a very special trip. Like I don't think we'll ever forget.
I will never forget that trip.
Never going to forget that trip.
No, and I will say too, it was also just so special and unique because you're right, of like the occupancy. There was hardly anybody there, so we felt like we had the resort to ourselves. Like when we first got there and they're at 10% occupancy, I think the resort is roughly 448 rooms. I'm not looking at my my fact sheet on it right now, but it's roughly 448 rooms. So about 44 of them were occupied, meaning there was about 80 to 90 people there.
Yeah, I mean, it was like...
So it was empty.
We had the whole place to ourselves.
Yes, it was fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was special. And then I look back, it was funny because, we were traveling as this pandemic was really breaking in America. When the news started breaking of it and the lockdown became intimate, we were still in Mexico.
Yeah, we were in Cancun.
We were in Cancun, actually,
yeah, that
ironically.
Was in March. Yeah, I remember I talked to my brother, and he said you guys should come home. And
We
I
were
was like,
what?
no, I'm not coming home. And then, we're seeing it on the news, like everywhere's running out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. And I remember we were in
I
Islam.
still don't understand the toilet paper thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
We were on Islam Harris for the day, and
Yeah.
we went in that 7-Eleven gas station,
And we bought hand sanitizer.
and we bought hand sanitizer because we were like, well, I guess this might be hard to find when we get home.
People
So
are buying the subs, so let's just grab it here. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was also a great trip too.
Yeah, when we got home from that trip, 2 days later, they shut down all the restaurants here in South Carolina and everything. The indoor dining. It was 2 days after we got back.
Oh, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was a brutal lockdown, but it felt so good, and so that's why. I think as I look back on 2020, some of my favorite travel moments were that how surprised I was about LeBlanc. LeBlanc blew us away. I was very impressed by that, and it was really interesting to see all the different resorts how they handle COVID.
Yes,
all of them did it a little bit differently. They all had a lot of the similar foundational things that you should do, but they all handle a little bit differently. I was very impressed with how Unico, I felt like Mexico in general, just fabulous job with it. I think. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, what was your most stressful travel moment of 2020? I think I can name it for you.
My most, you can name it for me. You're thinking of something I'm not thinking of. Then what is it?
You're are going through customs and immigration at the Antigua airport where we had to have the negative COVID test.
Oh, that was the worst. Yeah, that was.
Well,
not
George
a good
was just
experience.
freaking out that he was gonna get taken to some government facility or.
I mean, I wasn't freaking out. It was just I could tell they were just unorganized, but I can't blame them because they're new at this too. There's I don't know. I mean, nowadays, after this, every country's going to have pandemic procedures. No one had this level of pandemic procedures at airports and stuff. So
right.
This was all thrown together. But to be honest, after going through all the airports we've been through and traveling so much, they all did a really good job. And even Antigua probably was the least prepared for it. But to be honest,
but they also had the most restrictions implemented. So
they did. So they had the toughest, I guess, safety protocols to follow, so that's why it was harder to go through.
Right.
And I guess a lot of that too was I was getting a little impatient. Who likes waiting in lines? And you're just sitting there in line for once you land after a long flight, you're just ready to get me to the beach, And I think that was just the tough thing is we're sitting in line for freaking 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it was brutal, but we got through it.
We weren't in line for 2.5 hours. That's a little bit of an exaggeration.
It felt like 2.5 hours. I had my
Yeah,
stopwatch
it might have
out.
felt like it, but it was not 2.5 hours.
But they did the best they could, and we traveled there. And what I like about Antigua, though, is if you are on the fence about traveling and you want to travel as safe as possible, some of these smaller islands aren't a bad place because A, there's less people there, and B, you have to have a negative COVID test to show up.
Yes.
So that everyone at the resort, at least in the last 72 hours, has been tested.
7 days for Antigua.
7 days, yeah. Depending on the island. So that's a good peace of mind. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
So, but I would say those are my just remembering Unico. That's probably the sweetest moment of travel we had.
Yes.
And LeBlanc blew us away. Antigua was fun. I will say that the coolest thing about Antigua was that little floating.
The tiki bar.
Yeah, that was the coolest. That's one of those little unique places. And what I was thinking of too, we got to do a podcast on some of the most unique, off the beaten path things to do, and find those places what the tiki bars one.
Yeah.
What was it called? I can't remember the name.
Kon-Tiki.
Kon-Tiki.
Kon and then space tiki.
And then the resort, or I guess you can't even call it a resort. It's like a hotel and swim up bar and restaurant.
Oh, that was on Islam Harris.
Yeah.
It's called Kinha,
something like that. Yeah.
And that's really cool too because from there you can look out and you see the hotel zone at Cancun. You just see the high rise, hotels and stuff, and it's just pretty cool.
Oh, it was awesome. So just these little gems, and both of those we found this year actually. Mm-hmm. And we could probably I probably have a list of 5 to 10 places, our top 5 to 10 that we could talk about, and those two would be up there at the top.
Yeah.
And these are things we just stumbled upon. These are not things we planned to do. These are things we stumbled upon. So we'll have to do a podcast on that. But anyways, speaking of 2020, I've got to give some shout-outs to our most, where we're played the most across.
Say he's got the list up here.
I got the list up here. So top 10 countries that we've been played in: United States, Canada, UK, Germany, Australia, Denmark, New Zealand, France, Netherlands, and India. Rounding out the top 10, which is very, very cool. Thank you guys so much for listening to us in all those great countries. And then here we go for the cities. We've got Lincoln, Maine, coming in at number 1. So shout out Lincoln, Maine.
Lincoln, Maine. All right.
Love that. Yeah, representing Maine. Chicago, Illinois, great city. Chicago, love going to Chicago. Thank you so much. Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're listening, Minnie, we love you. Atlanta, Georgia, love Hotlanta. Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, coming in the next 2. We hear so much from our fans in Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have a lot. Yeah, in Dallas and Houston, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love Dallas too, and Houston, great cities. Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, kind of close to home.
I was gonna say
Charlotte.
we got to have somewhere close to home.
And then the next 2. St. Catharines, Canada, and Toronto, Canada, rounding out the top 10. So shout out to our folks in Canada. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. But it's really cool to see the podcast growth over the last year too. It's really blown up. Now the pandemic, we took a dip because I think people listen to us like when they're driving or
everybody's habits were all out of whack. Yeah,
and so you have a lot less people commuting, and you have a lot less people going to the gym during the pandemic. But if you're still tuning into us, which I know a lot of people are, thank you so much.
Yes, we really, really appreciate it, and we hope that 2021 we can all get back to normal and everyone can get to traveling again.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And if you are thinking about a trip, but now is actually a really good time to book, you can hit us up. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of New Year's specials out there. I do want to mention that.
Oh, really?
There's lots of like end of year sales. Like I just had one come out with American Airlines. Sandals has come out with a great one. If you stay 6 nights or longer, depending on the room type that you book, you'll get either $250, $500, or $750 off of your package. Plus, you get a free couples massage and candlelight dinner. And those are just 2 off the top of my head. But there are a lot of specials out there to get the New Year booking incentives kicked off. So.
Sign me up.
Yes,
you and I are kind of running our own little New Year special.
We are?
Dry January.
Oh.
And it might not be that special.
I was going to say, what are you talking about?
We're talking about Dry January. We're going to do it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Not that we drink that much. We like to have our wine here on the weekends and a little bit at night, but
yeah.
A lot of people, it's a very popular thing to do. We've never done it, but
we've got some friends doing it, so we're like, well, why not? Let's do Dry January.
Yeah, the more the merrier, I guess, if we're going to jump into this. A lot of people do Sober October. That's a very popular one.
October I can't do, no.
Well, because you have football, you have Halloween, you have like social gatherings a lot in the fall.
Right.
Weather's usually really good around here in October.
Yes.
It's really hard to do in October. January, cold outside, football season's coming down to an end. Sports, now you have some big bowl games, the championships coming up, but I think...
Well, none of our teams are in it. So.
No, we've had a horrible year in sports to add to 2020.
Yeah, so Carolina Gamecocks, Carolina Panthers...
Horrible.
Yeah,
Hornets, horrible.
Yeah, not good.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, so nothing to look forward to there.
Yeah, but I do like our new coach. But anyways, we're doing Dry January.
Yeah, if anyone else is doing it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. If you've ever done it before, slide in our DM, let us know how it went.
We're going to get our livers prepared for Cabo.
Gotcha. We're going back to Cabo.
Kidding.
I think we talked to everybody on the last, we talked about that in the last one, but we're going to LeBlanc. And what's really going to be cool about Cabo, and this is something I can't wait to share the experience with our audience here, is we're going to do the swimming with whales.
Yeah,
whale sharks.
The swimming with the whale sharks
our
and
friends,
sea lions.
Yeah, our friend said this is something we have to do, so we're going to do it.
Yes.
I am not the best as far as I'm not like an expert scuba diver. You're going to do the snorkeling part.
Yeah, I'm not diving.
I'm getting scuba certified literally rapidly in January.
And you better sign yourself up for that.
Yeah, I do need to sign up for that. But I do want to. It's going to be kind of a very rare opportunity. And we're going with 2 expert divers, and they said this is something that you have to do if you're in the area. So it's very seasonal. We're going to get some more information out probably on our next podcast on that.
Yeah, so that's the first trip that we have planned for 2021. We also have currently on the books Barbados, but that may or may not happen depending on the restrictions because they've kind of changed some of the COVID stuff. And then we hope to either get on one of the test cruises or go on a cruise ourselves next year so we can talk about how those protocols and all of that's changed, and who knows what else, but that's kind of what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be on a cruise ship in 2021, and we want to do these things so we can understand it better.
Yes.
We want to be those next level travel advisors that actually has seen it for themselves and have done it. So I'm sure we'll find our way on a cruise ship. I want to go on maybe one of the first ones out if we could.
Yes.
And just so we can better explain it to everybody. That's what we do. I mean, we actually spend a lot of time and money traveling, and we do it so we know what the heck we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
But I am, as rough of a year as it was in 2020, I am super optimistic for 2021. And I literally, I can't thank our followers and our fans and our clients and those that are actually all three enough, because getting all the feedback on the podcast and through our website and the emails and stuff, it really keeps us going, and through a tough year like this, just getting those nice messages saying can't wait to book with you, or really appreciate what you guys are doing, love the content, it means the world to us, especially in a year like 2020, and it's why we get up and we continue to deliver every single week.
Yes, that's right. I cannot thank you guys enough for listening to us and trusting us with your vacation plans. We really, really, truly appreciate it. And, I'm sure you've heard this a lot this year, but, definitely now more than ever, because everyone could use a little help these days. So
yeah, it means a lot. But the Penyak Travel family and our just all the people that message us and DM us, and just it keeps us going, and it's cool. We have such a cool crew that we roll with, and we really appreciate you guys. And if you're listening to this now, thank you guys so much just for tuning in. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, we would love to subscribe. And if you've been listening for a while and you haven't gave us a review, we would love a review, preferably a 5-star. But
we would appreciate a 5-star.
We would love a review. It keeps us going. It keeps the Penyak Travel family growing and keeps us going. So we love you guys. So, question of the day or trip of the week?
Well, I've got lots of.
First?
It's kind of the same thing as what we talked about in the last podcast, trip of the week. I've got lots of people traveling right now. Lots of people down at Unico right now, or going to Unico.
Unico is such a good value.
Yes,
it's the best value in the game right now.
Yes, so I've got a lot going on.
And we were browsing their Instagram page. So if you're ever wondering, this is a good tip too. If you're ever wondering what it's like to travel somewhere, go on Instagram and go to their hashtag. Or you can actually go to their geotag or hashtag.
Well, the geotag, it hasn't been working.
You can't watch the stories. You're hung up on the stories.
I know, because you used to be able to.
You used to, but they throttled that for some reason.
Yeah.
But you can still watch the... well, I guess if someone's profile's open, you can see their stories. But
no, but you can't at all anymore.
But okay, let's not focus on that. My point is, just look at the hashtag then. Go hashtag Unico2087. Or find the top hashtag for that resort if you're interested in what it's like to go there now, and just look at all the recent pictures.
Yeah.
When you go to Instagram, it has top and recent. What you want to do is go to recent. That's going to show you all the most recent pictures of what it's like to travel there. And so we were doing that for Unico.
Yes.
And we've already been to Unico. We knew how we know how we feel about it. It's safe. It was fine. But it was really cool to see how many people were taking pictures and posting their experience and actually saying, really impressed with how safe it is here. Really impressed with how their safety protocols are.
Yeah.
It was mentioned more than a couple of times in just the most recent posts. So if you're thinking about a certain property, that's a really good way to get a feel for it. Or you can call a great travel agency like us.
Yes, also...
I'm giving us too much plugs. I got to tone that crap down.
Yeah, also, Unico has a webcam. If you go onto their website, you can see live what's going on.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't we know this when we went? I could have gone on webcam.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally just figured that out today because I was looking
really
for something on their website, and I noticed it today, and I actually looked at it. The weather's great.
I like it. All right, beautiful. All right, are you ready for question of the day?
Yes.
Question of the day. What do you need help with the most?
What do I need help with the most?
Yeah, I guess something around the office or in general.
This is the most random question.
It's a question. It's a question of the day.
What do
I need
can
be
help
a
with?
question on anything. I got an idea.
Okay.
Computer support.
Oh, yeah, I guess technical stuff, because I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, like the other day. Oh, yeah, remember the other day you were in the gym and you're like, I can't get a
my
single email on my phone. The text messages aren't working. My phone's not working. You were in like a piss poor mood for a solid hour.
I can't be disconnected.
And I was like, get on the Wi-Fi. I got on the Wi-Fi. Everything was fine. And then I was like, give me this phone. I looked at it. You had the cellular data cut off.
Well, I don't even know how that happened. So
I mean, at least you got to at least check that before you get all upset.
Well, I don't know. I don't think about stuff like that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. Yes, all things technical.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just am not good. If something's not working on the TV, I just am like, George.
Oh yeah, I know. I know the scream.
Yeah. So
it's not really a scream, but you're like, hey.
Yeah.
Okay. What do I need help with the most? I guess I should let you answer that question.
What do you need help with?
Or maybe I shouldn't let you answer this question on the podcast.
I was going to say, not complaining about yard work.
Yard work's a great one. That's my number one thing. If I had one thing I could say I need help with the most, it's yard work.
I say you need help with not complaining about yard work.
No, I'm really good at that. I don't need help with that. I need just help with the yard work.
You are very good at
really
complaining.
good at complaining about it. But
yes.
No, I mean, yard work's one of those things like the grass, you just cut it and it grows back. You cut it and it grows back. And we had landscapers in our last house. We got to find some landscapers here that can do that for us.
Yeah.
And then this isn't even no before a travel tip. This is a tip in general. All my guys out there that don't like cutting the grass or don't like yard work, if you're ever going to do landscaping, the key question to ask your landscaping person, if you're going to put in
maintenance.
Low maintenance. Give me low maintenance plants. Yeah. Low maintenance trees. Low maintenance everything.
All right, we're getting way off topic.
Because there's a lot of plants out there that are low maintenance. They don't tell you about it unless you ask.
As you can tell, yard work is an issue in this household.
Our yard looks fine. Actually, the property we're in now, it has beautiful landscaping. Like the person we bought it from, like overdid the landscaping. This is too much for me.
Yeah.
Like I walked around and I'm like getting stressed out looking at these bushes. I'm like, who's going to cut that? Who's going to trim this? What in the world is this thing? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. And if
low maintenance, because I want to have more time to do podcasts and to cut grass.
Yes, there you go. And just by the way, our dog Lucia is in the studio, and she's squeaking her ball. So if that's what you heard, that's Lucia. She's trying to say hello to everyone.
But cutting the grass is very therapeutic for a lot of guys. Yes. Not with the push mower, though.
Yeah.
Not with the push mower.
All right, let's wrap this up.
There's the last spinner wheel I'm getting.
Yeah, there's your last finger wheel of 2020.
Anyways, we love you guys. We hope you have a safe and wonderful New Year's, and we hope
Happy New Year.
We hope 2021 is going to be the best year yet for everybody. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support in 2020, and we cannot wait to bring the fire and bring the heat even bigger and better than ever in 2021. Right?
Yes, that's right. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year's. See you next year.